actually someone who was born in China initially, and then I moved multiple times throughout my life through interstate and international voyages. Initially, it was international. I went from China to the United States early in my childhood. The first city in which I actually lived was El Paso, and then I moved later on to Colorado, then California, then Washington State, and now I'm back inside of El Paso, and I'm happy to be here. So my entire life I've been basically trying to focus in medicine. I've always found an intense passion for anything that relates to the human body because it's such an interesting mechanism, basically. It's like mechanics but on a biological scale, something that's been around for billions of years and established based on all of the natural evolutions that we've experienced up to this point. And also nature has no patents, which means that if you go into genetic engineering or anything like that, you could actually use biomimicry to use all of the ingenious innovations that nature has created and apply them to other fields. It's something that lacks a patent, which means it's truly something that has all kinds of available innovations that could be created from there. And I guess I could also say that I have known English and Mandarin since I was a kid. However, my Mandarin isn't as good. I'm currently learning French, and I'm trying to learn a bit more about Spanish. And out of all of the locations in which I've lived, I must say that El Paso has definitely been the nicest and the most accepting of all the different kinds of diversity we have within the United States. So Silva Health Magnet is one of the first health magnets that was ever established in El Paso. To my knowledge, it is the first health magnet that was established here, all the way back with its first graduating class in 1997. And I must say that it offers a plethora of programs, from nursing to biotechnology to medical billing and coding. It basically covers the entirety of the distributions of professions within the medical field, which is already very varied. And it's right next to various hospitals as well, like Texas Tech University has its own medical program as well. It's next to the hospitals, UMC, University Medical Center, as well as El Paso Children's Hospital, and it also has access to veterinary programs through CCTE and El Paso Animal Services Center. So it just has a ton of different opportunities. So I actually was rather surprised, because I know my score was like above the threshold, but I didn't feel as if I would be like the only person from my school. I think the reason why is because I just practiced. I didn't personally feel as someone who is very intelligent in those two fields. It's just that I had some practice on Khan Academy for a week beforehand, and I guess really getting to know the standardized system and how to test within those boundaries helped me through the test. I was incredibly excited, of course, to finally get this commendation, because I guess it means that all of the efforts that I've put through, my various moving experiences, has produced this continuous academic improvement that has enabled me to get something that is actually consolidated and a proven basically achievement or threshold or milestone for everything that I've done thus far in my academic career, and I hope this will become a springboard for my future pursuits. Okay, so Harvard University definitely is my number one choice because it is the number one medical university and they have one of the best biomedical engineering programs as well, and so does Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins is also next to the Space Center as well, and also Rice University, my third choice, is first of all, it's in-state, which means tuition will be more affordable. It's one of the most diverse communities, and it's also next to Texas Medical Center, which is the largest in the world, as well as the Space Center, the Johnson Space Center. So actually, the family part is a bit tumultuous. I used to live with my biological mother, and then when I moved to El Paso in my sophomore year, I actually came to Silva as a transfer in sophomore year, I moved in with my biological father, so that was a relatively big shift between households. Can't explain the reason behind that. But anyways, it was a tumultuous experience, but my father has been supportive of me throughout the entire way, and I've always known him to be a very nice person. He's never actually pressured me very hard to do well in academics. He basically just said, if you do well in academics, I will provide you more freedom. You can have fun, you can do whatever you want as long as your grades are good. And he hasn't really forced me saying, oh, you need to stop doing this, you need to sacrifice this time with your friends. He allowed me to have a balanced work-life, school relationship, basically. And I would say of my teachers, the most helpful have been Mr. Pedregon, my English teacher in sophomore year, and Dr. Wagner, my history teacher in sophomore year, as well as my college and career advisor in junior year. And basically, Mr. Pedregon was the one who initially informed me of this opportunity because that's when we were taking the NMSQT, the qualifying test. And then later on, it was Dr. Wagner who helped me learn more about the process itself and what was required for me to even get into the program, which I had already done by filling in the blanks on the test itself, and then later on in getting the principal's approval to write my recommendation letter in the current application process. So vocational experience is incredibly important, especially for the college application process. They love to see that high schoolers are already interested in the respective subjects that they like to pursue in their tertiary education. So that's why Silva is so important for anybody who is interested in medicine, because they can enter any program that they wish among all of the offerings that we do have, and then get actual experience inside of the hospital, shadowing whichever professional they'd like to choose. They can choose between different units, the neonatal unit, the radiology unit, even surgery. I was literally able to stand in the corner of an OR watching a cranial synostosis surgery on a child. So, I mean, that's amazing. That's something that most high schoolers never have the chance to see, at least in person, and many medical students actually have to wait until much later in their career to be able to watch such operations. So, yeah, Silva is the best school for that purpose. And it is very important that all of our students capitalize upon these opportunities. And personally, I have been in the preceptorship program, which is basically involved with EKG training. So by the time this semester ends, I will be hopefully certified in EKG technician training, which means I'll be able to read one of the heart monitors that are within the hospital, basically watching the electrical impulses of the heart. And I'm also in the biotechnology program. I was previously in the pharmacy program as well, and we're actually learning all kinds of pharmacy stuff in EKG training as well. It's just so interdependent and interconnected.